Episode, my grandson Pablo Torre and I, we discussed Chad Henne getting it done, the Ravens not getting it done, and Aaron Rodgers making his 5th conference title game. But we begin today with the Old Aged Bowl. Tom Brady, 43, was not particularly sharp, but he was a lot sharper than Drew Brees, 42. The result is that Brady will be in his 14th conference championship game, 14th, and Brees will mull retirement. The Saints committed 4 turnovers, 3 of them interceptions. Pablo, is this about what the Bucs did or what Brees and the Saints did not do?
It's about what the Saints did not do, but even more than that, Tony, it's about what they could not do, which allowed the Bucs to then do everything that they did, because the Saints looked like an offense that could beat nobody in man coverage or down the field. It's like playing basketball and the guy you're guarding can't go left. Okay, well that makes the defense's job a lot easier. So what do the Bucs do? They camp out underneath, and we knew Drew Brees has this weak arm. I didn't know it would be this weak, admittedly, when we talked on Friday. I also didn't realize that Michael Thomas, the guy who should be winning these one-on-one matchups all over the field, would be held catchless for the first time in his career after having 149 catches last year. So the turnover battle from all of that ended up being the total opposite of what the Saints did to the Bucs in those first 2 games they played, where they dominated them, right? 4 turnovers for the Saints, and that to me was the story of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Brees. I looked at him. The arm can't go deep downfield, may not even have enough zip in for intermediate passes. So I understand why he would mull retirement at this point. I think they really missed Taysom Hill, who was not allowed and eligible for that game. The Jameis Winston play worked once, but it's not going to work more than once. I think Taysom Hill really could have helped them along. I got a lot of notes here. I honestly thought, Pablo, that at 17-10, the Saints were going to win that game. I didn't see the Bucs winning the game, but they did. And let me just say this about Brady. I'm not sure we've ever seen an athlete at this age in any sport be this good relative to the other people who are aging in that sport. In the last 6 games, he now has 16 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. Over the course of this year, at age 43, he has 44 touchdown passes. I don't know what Bruce Arians said or did recently, or maybe it's what he didn't say because he wasn't rapping Brady publicly. But that team looks like it has coalesced around Brady, and that team looks good. Not great, but looks good.
They look so much better than I thought they would. And every week, Tony, I feel like I meet you and I say, hey, Tom Brady's going to be pressured. Tom Brady's going to fall apart. And every week it seems like he's just cruising along even smoother than the last time. But the Chiefs, Tony.
Let me just say this about the Saints, if I could. Let me interrupt you for a second. Let me interrupt you for a second and say this about the Saints. They have been so snake-bit in the playoffs lately. They have won, I think, 49 games over the last 4 years, have not made it to the playoffs. They got beat on a no call that should have been a call with the Rams. They got beat on the worst defensive play of all time by Minnesota, and they got beat by turnovers in this. Snake bit. Go ahead. Sorry.
So as snake biting goes, I don't know if anybody feels that way more than the Cleveland Browns. And we saw that because the Chiefs made the AFC Championship game, but the Browns had these chances, Tony. Rashard Higgins fumbles on a touchdown dive, results in a touchback. Later, after Pat Mahomes leaves the game with a concussion, the Chiefs backup Chad Henne comes in, scrambles for a near first down, fools almost everybody by taking the snap on 4th and short and getting it. So given Mahomes' injury here, should the Chiefs lean towards being excited about their win or concerned about their future?
Oh, concerned. Obviously concerned. They don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to play. You come from a line of doctors, but I don't know that anybody's looked inside Patrick Mahomes' head in the last 24 hours and knows exactly what's going on. When he went down, I've covered a lot of fights in my life. A guy gets hit flush in the face. He's not yet knocked out. He goes down. He struggles to get up, and then he wobbles and falls down. And the ref comes in right away and says, no, that's it. That's what we were looking at. And you mentioned Chad Henne. And Chad Henne was great on that scramble. And even greater, we are watching that game on the 4th down, and Tony Romo is saying, just stand still. There's not going to be another play. They're not going to snap the ball. And suddenly they snap the ball. and Henne makes the pass, and the game is over because they get a first down. It's a great viewership moment, but I don't think any of us thinks that Chad Henne over the course of a full game will be anywhere near what Patrick Mahomes would be.
Yeah, Mahomes, to your analogy, like he should have gotten a standing 8 count when he was woozy and looking delirious, and it looked like, wait a minute, this is going to be a huge issue. Now, on Twitter, after the game, he said he's all good. Take that for what it's worth. Maybe the NFL gives him the whole easy pass treatment through the protocol because he is the face of the league. It's a conference title game. Maybe that's the case. But keep in mind, Tony, there was another injury in this same game to Pat Mahomes and his foot/toe that was hampering him, making him limp around before the head trauma, right? So for me, I think the Chiefs must be ecstatic that they survived that game. It's not often that Goliath gets to feel like David, and that's how they felt with Chad Henne going on 4th and inches with Andy Reid. But looking ahead, there are real questions for a team that has played tight games for about 10 or 9 straight games now.
I think they have failed to cover now in 8 of their last 9 games, which matters to people who bet. Can I go back to the Higgins play for a second, please?
Please.
He's 6 inches from the goal line. Okay, the ball is fumbled and it rolls out of bounds. It rolls out of bounds, not at the end of the end zone, but right near him. And the other team, which doesn't recover, gets possession of the ball on the 20. I like the suggestion that the offensive team retains possession in a play like that, but has to go back to the 20. Let us move now to probably the dullest of the 4 games, and that was Buffalo beating Baltimore. The critical play was an interception in the end zone by Buffalo that turned into a 101-yard pick six and a 14-point swing. Lamar Jackson left the game with a concussion on the last play of the third quarter, but before that, Pablo, Jackson struggled to do anything. In 4 playoff starts, Jackson's teams have averaged only 13 points. So should we praise the Bills or should we question the Ravens' offense?
I praise the Bills, end of praise, because I have so many questions now about this Ravens offense. Tony, I want to ask a couple of things, but the number one question is, hey, Lamar Jackson, how did you feel watching Josh Allen throw to Stephon Diggs like he's his security blanket whenever he needed it? Because this Ravens offense, the number one thing that has become so obvious, especially in this game, is that Lamar needs help. He needs a wide receiver to turn to. I know this team is always going to be imbalanced. They were the number 1 rushing team in the league, the last place passing team in the league, but the guy needs help, not just because he's throwing 101-yard pick sixes, but because there's a talent deficit when he plays these teams in the postseason this deep.
It's not sustainable. I understand he's a great runner, but look at the coaching of Buffalo, which needs to be praised. They took the run away from Lamar Jackson. He got 3.8 yards per rush. In the regular season, he averages 6.3. You can't be 32nd dead last in passing. Either he has to become a better passer, or as you say, they have to get him something. Because this